Good day and welcome to Big Bad Tech. I'm your instructor Jim Pytel. Today's topic of discussion is brushless DC and permanent magnet synchronous motors. Our objective is to introduce brushless DC and permanent magnet synchronous motors and discuss their construction and theory of operation. Additionally, we'll examine some of the power electronics hardware used to direct the operation of these types of motors on an introductory level. Special emphasis needs to be placed on the term introductory, since we'll not be discussing closed-loop control of these devices in this particular lecture in anything but the vaguest of details. This might be great news for those of you that have an adversarial relationship with math. However, if you came for the math, this lecture might not be for you. This lecture operates under the presumption that viewers watch the Motors and Generators playlist in its intended sequence and possesses an understanding of the motor family tree, electromagnetic interaction, the stator rotating magnetic field, and rotating mechanical power. This lecture additionally presumes the viewer has an intimate level of familiarity with the mechanical and electrical properties of three-phase AC electrically excited synchronous motors and permanent magnet DC motors. If you haven't watched these lectures yet, or only didn't recall their contents, please bring yourself up to speed and return when you are so qualified. Undoubtedly, the first question in a viewer's mind is this: what's the difference between a brushless DC and a permanent magnet synchronous motor? Let me answer this question with another question. What's the difference between an English setter and a Brittany? The answer is not much. They're both mammals, they're both dogs, they're both relatively the same size and same color. They both do and act relatively the same. Experienced bird hunters with extensive experience with both breeds might be the only ones to actually notice any subtle difference between these two closely related hunting dogs. Notably, an English setter is a pointing dog that probably won't fetch, whereas a Brittany is a pointing dog that might fetch. When you get right down to it, the differences between a brushless DC and a permanent magnet synchronous motor are of similar magnitude, i.e. insignificant trivialities. For this reason, we'll take a look at both types with the understanding that there are subtle differences that might initially escape your viewer's notice and only with practice and exposure become apparent. Viewers with a background in basic biology might be familiar with the term convergent evolution, where convergent evolution is the independent evolution of similar features by different species. Examples of convergent evolution might include flight, exhibited by pterosaurs, bats, and birds, and the eyes of insects, vertebrates, and cephalopods. If you want to think of it this way, a permanent magnet synchronous motor and a brushless DC motor are examples of convergent technical evolution within the motor family tree, since their construction and operation is almost identical. You'll recall the motor family tree consists of two large branches, those motors that prefer DC and those that prefer AC. The AC branch is divided between the sexy, powerful industrial motors that prefer three-phase AC and the garbage-eating dimwits that prefer single-phase AC. The three-phase AC branch is further subdivided into two sub-branches: induction motors that exhibit a torque-dependent shift between rotational speed of the rotor and the synchronous speed of the stator, and synchronous motors whose rotational speed matches or is synchronized with the synchronous speed of the stator inside their operational range. Both styles of three-phase AC motors, induction and synchronous, use a rotating magnetic field in the stator and can reverse rotational direction by swapping any two applied phase sequences. We spent some time exploring the mechanical and electrical characteristics of squirrel cage induction motors, wound rotor induction motors, and electrically excited synchronous motors in previous lectures. Of interest to this particular lecture, you'll recall an electrically excited synchronous motor features a coil of wire in the rotor core called the field between F1 and F2. When the field is energized by an external DC source known as a DC exciter, it establishes an electromagnet. Once established, the rotor electromagnet locks in with the stator rotating magnetic field and follows it around and around, matching the synchronous speed of the stator inside its operational range. Several characteristics define electrically excited synchronous motors. 1. Connection of a stationary DC exciter to a rotating rotor necessitates slip rings and brushes. These mechanical components are not maintenance-free and can wear out over time. Additionally, slip rings, brushes, and the external DC exciter contribute to inefficiencies, especially at extremely high speeds. 2. Varying the DC exciter magnitude changes the rotor field current and thus the mechanical and electrical characteristics of the electrically excited synchronous motor while in operation. Viewers will recall rotor field current is roughly proportional to pull-out torque, the point when a synchronous motor loses synchronization. Additionally, varying the rotor field current while in operation varies the reactive power requirements of the motor, such that underexcitation causes the motor to consume reactive power, as would an inductive load, and overexcitation causes the motor to supply reactive power, as would a capacitive load. This additionally implies rotor field current can be so adjusted such that it neither consumes nor supplies reactive power, line current reaches a minimum and exhibits unity power factor, where line current reaches a minimum as in phase with supply voltage. 3. Electrically excited synchronous motors necessitate slightly more complicated starting mechanisms than a comparatively simpler induction motor, principally because upon closure of a full voltage or direct online starter, the stator rotating magnetic field is instantaneously established at full speed, whereas the rotor has a degree of static inertia and may take some time to come up to speed. For this reason, electrically excited synchronous motors employ several different starting techniques, serving to either accelerate the rotor or slow down the stator. To accelerate the rotor to near synchronous speeds before energizing the rotor field winding, an electrically excited synchronous motor can use an accessory mechanical or electrical device like a pony motor or a set of amortisseur windings which act like an induction-style squirrel cage. To slow down the stator, in contrast, an electrically excited synchronous motor can use a motor drive which slowly ramps up excitation speed to the desired rotational speed. 4. Lastly, the rotor of an electrically excited synchronous motor can be turned off. By de-energizing the DC exciter, the rotor electromagnet is similarly de-energized, besides a small bit of residual or remaining magnetism. Keep these 4 characteristics in mind when we return to discuss the permanent magnet synchronous motor in a moment. Keep in mind the term permanent. This implies a permanent magnet can't be turned off nor varied in intensity. Let's now climb back down the motor family tree to its base and back up the DC branch. You recall the different branches of the DC motor family are defined by the construction and electrical relationship of the stationary field winding and the rotating armature winding. As implied by its title, a permanent magnet DC motor has a permanent magnet field winding and an electrically excited armature. Separately excited DC motors use one source for the field and another source for the armature. Shunt-wound DC motors have a field winding in parallel with the armature winding. A series-wound DC motor has a field winding in series with the armature winding. And finally, a compound-wound motor has both a shunt and series field winding in one of 2 different series parallel configurations with the armature winding. These various configurations of DC motors lend themselves to different mechanical and electrical characteristics we'll explore in other lectures. Of note to this lecture, the rotational direction of traditional DC motors is reversed by swapping the voltage polarity of either the field or the armature winding, not both. Customarily, the polarity of the field is kept constant, and one reverses the rotational direction by changing the voltage polarity of the armature. Central to the operation of these traditional styles of DC motors are the commutator and brushes, mechanical components that link a stationary DC source to the rotating armature. The commutator and brushes repeatedly break connection with one set of armature windings and reestablish a connection with another, such that the field and armature magnetic fields are continuously misaligned and the armature continues to rotate towards realignment. As with brushes and slip rings on an electrically excited synchronous motor, the brushes and commutator on DC motors are not maintenance-free and can wear out over time and contribute to inefficiencies, especially at high speeds. Long story short, the frequent failure and inefficiency of these accessory mechanical components plague several branches of the motor family tree, DC and 3-phase AC. A common problem from opposite ends of the motor family tree lends itself to a common solution. From the 3-phase AC side, rather than using an external DC source and slip rings to establish an electromagnet on the rotor, a genuine permanent magnet rotor is employed. This is a permanent magnet synchronous motor. No need for an external DC exciter source. No slip rings, no brushes, permanent magnet on the rotor. For all intents and purposes, the stator is identical to 3-phase AC motors. Importantly, a permanent magnet synchronous motor uses a power electronics device known as an AC to AC converter to direct its operation. Similarly, from the DC side, rather than using an electrically excited wire-wound armature and a commutator, a genuine permanent magnet is employed on the armature. This is a brushless DC motor. No commutator, no brushes, permanent magnet on the armature. For all intents and purposes, the stator is identical to 3-phase AC motors. Importantly, a brushless DC motor uses a power electronics device known as a DC to AC converter to direct its operation. If we unpackage the schematic symbols for these 2 related devices, it supports my earlier generalization of convergent evolution. What's an AC to AC converter? An AC to AC converter is an AC to DC converter, a rectifier, back-to-back with a DC to AC converter, an inverter. You note the core elements for both these devices are a permanent magnet rotor and a 3-phase AC stator powered by an inverter, a DC to AC converter. With this expanded perspective, I guess the real question is this. Is a permanent magnet synchronous motor really just a brushless DC motor with a rectifier? Or is a brushless DC motor a permanent magnet synchronous motor that lacks a rectifier? The world may never know. There's also some disagreement as to what actually defines a brushless DC or a permanent magnet synchronous motor. Is it really as simple as one's got a rectifier and one doesn't? Or does what actually define a particular motor as being one type or the other, as we'll see in a moment, the actual control method employed to generate the signals at the stator and its associated subtle construction differences? Again, the world may never know. This being said, we do need to come down hard on the terminology we'll be employing for this lecture. You recall three-phase AC motors call the stationary part the stator and the rotating part the rotor, whereas DC motors call the stationary part the field and the rotating part the armature. Being a weird mix of three-phase AC and DC, there's convincing arguments for employing either naming convention. However, as an avowed superfan of three-phase AC motors, I tend to think in terms of stator and rotor, and will do so during this lecture series. But beware of technical documents or manufacturers employing equivalent terms field and armature. In summary, be flexible. Brushless DC and permanent magnet synchronous motors present certain advantages and disadvantages when compared to their related peers. Perhaps most obviously, brushless DC and permanent magnet synchronous motors don't need commutators, brushes, or slip rings to excite an electromagnet on the rotor because the magnet on the rotor is already there, permanently. This means a brushless DC or permanent magnet synchronous motor might necessitate less maintenance, be less prone to failure, able to operate at higher rotational speeds, be easier to cool, easier to control, and importantly, more efficient than a comparable motor making use of slip rings or a commutator, brushes, and a DC exciter. Additionally, since these devices don't require all this accessory junk, they tend to be more compact and lighter weight than a similarly rated device employing electromagnets. This being said, brushless DC and permanent magnet synchronous motors tend to be more expensive than a similarly related device, accounting for the cost of the rare earth permanent magnets and the power electronic devices necessary for their operation. Additionally, the rotor permanent magnet, being permanent in nature, is also invariable and cannot be turned off. This means a permanent magnet synchronous motor doesn't have the degree of customization we observe with electrically excited synchronous motor with regard to pull-out torque and reactive power requirements. Regarding the physical construction of brushless DC and permanent magnet synchronous motors, there's two general methods of placing permanent magnets on the rotor: surface-mounted and embedded or interior magnets. As implied by their titles, a surface mount magnet is affixed to the outside of the rotor, whereas an interior mounted magnet is set inside a machine channel on the rotor. Surface mounted motors are cheaper to manufacture, but less robust than an interior mounted rotor. One could only imagine the destructive force of a surface mounted magnet coming loose at high speed. The stator of a brushless DC or permanent magnet synchronous motor is largely identical to the stators found in regular three-phase AC induction or synchronous machines, although subtle variations exist that favor one method of operation over another. As with regular three-phase AC induction and synchronous motors, there are stators wound such that their windings produce sinusoidal-shaped counter-electromotive force. There's also stators wound such that they produce trapezoidal-shaped counter-electromotive force. This goes back to the naming conundrum I referenced earlier. If we don't designate a motor's type based on whether it uses a DC source or an AC source or a rectifier, and instead concentrate on the mode of operation, there are valid reasons to suggest that a permanent magnet motor with surface-mounted magnets using trapezoidal windings and a control method favoring this style of construction is a brushless DC motor, whereas a permanent magnet motor with embedded magnets and sinusoidal windings and a control method favoring this style of construction is a permanent magnet synchronous motor, regardless of the nature of the source and whether it does or does not include a rectifier. Like I said, the world may never know, and we are certainly not going to settle the debate here.